Hey, this is Juno, the MLM Giant Killer here, and actually in the car park where everything just started out. As in this is where I exactly was when I made a video a couple of weeks ago about how I actually went from uh, debt problems to now actually able to pay off my debt on a monthly basis. So I talked about how like 6 months ago I was really in a bad financial shape, and how my internet business with Empower Network and Pure Leverage actually helped get me out of that predicament to being able to clear the bills bit by bit every month. And now I want to actually talk about a couple of things. Like today's video is really to talk about how to get into that success mindset, how to actually achieve the kind of breakthroughs that you want in your life. And a lot of people are very comfortable. I actually no, I wouldn't say comfort. I would say that a lot of people are in that zone where it's actually in between satisfaction and dissatisfaction. So I would say, if people are like middle road, you're not satisfied, you're not dissatisfied, but you're just very kind of like along a level plane, and where you just feel it's not a bad place to be in. And that is the worst, no man's land. Like in Matrix, that is so called the blue pill, I think. um, when people are still kind of in the matrix, they don't really know what's going on, but at the same time, they don't feel like uncomfortable enough to want to get out of it, right? So I'm going to talk about some strategies that you can use to get out of that, right? So it all comes from making a decision of what you want to achieve. Let's say if you want to add a monthly income, a side monthly income of 2K a month, or let's say 5K a month, and then you're gonna break down the steps. In the online business, it's not like a typical so-called network marketing thing, because in the online business, like what I do, and a lot of the people that I teach do, you don't actually need to have a database. You don't actually need to have people to call. You don't need a list. You don't even need to pick up the phone, right? But what you need to have is that you need to be able to build a list. So you can actually build a list from scratch. That's a cool thing that you can do. But obviously, to build a list, there are ways of doing it. There are free ways of doing it, which actually requires more effort, and there are paid ways that's going to get you there a lot faster. So a lot of people, if you want to make money, like if you want to actually make like 2K within the next 2 months, you can actually do it. I mean, I can direct you personally on how to correctly strategize and spend on the right things to get you, towards that 2K a month within 2 months. I can actually help you do that. But it all starts with a decision, and what I'm going to tell you is that it's going to cost you, and that money is not even going to go to me. It's going to go to the things that you need to build your business up. So when I first started out, right, I needed tools, I needed a website, right? So when I first started out in Empower Network back then, my son was going to be born in a couple of months' time. So I couldn't actually spend the extra money. So I thought, how can I then save money? So I thought, okay, in that case, I'm going to cut out the McDonald's frappes. That it's kind of like the Starbucks frappes, but I just like McDonald's one. I had to cut that out of my spending, and I just didn't buy that. Right? I cut that out. No more daily frappes for the next 6 months, and that actually enabled me to have a positive cash flow of $120 a month. Right? And then next thing is I needed business tools. I needed like some things to automate my workflow, so I could actually work more efficiently, which is still cheaper than actually hiring an outsourcer. So that actually I needed another $70 a month or something. So okay, in that case, right. So when I go out for meals, I'm just gonna go without the drink. So I have the main course, but I'll skip the drink. Or maybe I won't get the upsize deal where you get soup and drink for extra $2 or $3. I'll say, okay, I'm not gonna upsize my meal. I'm just gonna take the meal as it is. And then let's say when I had to buy some extra systems to upgrade myself, to upgrade my knowledge, I needed this course that cost me about $700. And that course, it gave me access to a lot of things that I felt that I could instantly use to improve my business. But for $700, how could I then get $700 without digging into my pockets, right? So what I did was that, okay, fine, no more shopping for 6 months. So actually, if you look at what I'm wearing right now, I haven't bought shirts for a while, and this shirt was like about 11 months back. This pair of pants was about the same time as well, 11 months back. So haven't spent on those things, and that actually gave me more cash flow. And then the other thing I do also is that you know, when I'm going out to the meals, I like recently, because I have to go for the Empower Network event. Like, I decided I want to be there, and I'm going to be also going to get the the master's program to upgrade my knowledge so that I can be a better leader for my team. And that's pretty costly. The master's program at 3,500, and I decided that I needed to get the cash flow to do that. So how would I do that? Okay, so basically I would spend as little as possible, and sometimes it involves like skipping meals. So like if I don't take dinners for if I skip dinners, I mean initially I was actually skipping dinners, and then sometimes I would skip lunch. Just have a good breakfast from home, and that's it. Skip the meals if I have to, and then because in my mind I think that if I skip these meals, it's actually I could actually, if it's not for the course, it's also good because I could then better afford to give my kids a better life. I could buy toys, or I could put that back in my marketing and actually scale up my marketing, scale my business, and have more cash flow for the family, right? So that's what I did. And also, other things that I did was that when which I advise you to do. Here's the next tip that I have. Like, if you want to, one great way to break out of complacency is that try to eat less. Try to eat less. Try to eat cheaper. If you're used to having a full meal, then why not just go for 2 slices of bread? If you're used to having like a steak, why don't you opt for like gruel, or what they call porridge instead, or congee, whatever they call it, congee, gruel, porridge, whatever. The same thing, right? Cheapest thing on the menu. So as a matter of fact, I just had like porridge for dinner. It was the cheapest thing on the menu. It's like $2.60. Usually I would spend about $7 on dinners, but I spent $2.60. Why? Because like eat just enough to fill the stomach, but not so that you feel full, right? And that actually makes you hungry. When you're hungry, it's not just a physical thing; it becomes a mental thing as well. Because when you're hungry, that's actually when the results really take place. That's when you decide that real results are going to happen, and you'll be wondering, okay, if I feel hungry, how can I stop myself from feeling hungry? How can I forge forward to have a more wholesome feeling, not just in the tummy but the whole being, right? So that's what I did. I started to spend less and go for the cheapest things on the menu, so that the other side benefit is that kind of look sexier, like face got sharper, and less tummy run. Less tummy fats, less love handles, but at the same time, it gives me a thirst for success. So, if you're living a comfortable life, maybe you're getting an average salary about like say 3-4K a month in Singapore, and let's say in other parts of the world you're getting just enough. Then why don't you just enough to have a okay eating plan? If you're comfortable, then why don't you just try to put yourself in the shoes of someone who's actually hungry? To do that role play, and actually be it, right? And with that, you tell yourself you're not gonna actually eat better, and set targets, set rewards for yourself. Let's say, okay, no trips to the discotheque until I hit this much earnings per month. I'm only going to go to discotheque if I make another $500 this week. That's positive motivation, right? Okay, I'm not going to give myself if you eat a lot of steak. Like, I like to eat steak. Okay, no steak until I make $250, and I'll buy a steak for like $8 or something. So these are ways that I use to motivate myself, and also, quite frankly, like I said, I'm not exactly like well off anything. I'm making a nice income online, through the various things that I do right now. But I still have a lot of debts to clear. So I have to live beneath my means, as a matter of fact. So a lot of people see me as this so-called middle of road kind of, not internet guru, but someone just in between a lot of people. So it kind of bridges the gap between the gurus and the so-called those who are trying out. And I like helping people, but I think. Just come along for my journey and do the same things that I do. I hope you took notes on some of the tips that I gave. It's not about abundance, but to kind of like put up, with less so that you can have more. All right. So I'm just gonna cut out this video before YouTube.